But actually, we have to look a little bit deeper than just our skills sometimes. We need to look at how our beliefs or how we think influences how we show up. A belief, of course, is something that we hold to be true currently. So a belief can be changed, of course, but until that change happens, we will have a view of the world. So if I continue with the analogy of sales, so if I were to ask you what adjective you would use to describe a salesman, what would you say? Now, I've asked this question numerous times before, and things like sleazy, slimy, gift of the gab, money grabbing, all these kind of things start to be shouted out. Of course, if that's your belief, if that's genuinely how you think about sales, then what do you think that's going to do to your ability to deploy the skills that you've maybe learned? So in the previous section, we talked about learning some sales skills, but if you haven't worked on your mindset, then you have this view of, I daren't be that person who might be viewed as slimy, sleazy, and all the rest of it, then you're never going to fully deploy the skills that you've now acquired. But of course, if I were to flip that belief to say, well, what would be an empowering belief around sales? Well, if sales now is viewed as being the ability to ask brilliant questions so that you can genuinely understand a person's current situation and need, so that you could start to match up their need versus the kind of products or services that you have, in order that they could then move to a better place than where they currently are. If that's your view of sales, well, I would suggest that might be a much more empowering belief. And therefore, with that belief, you're far more likely, of course, to deploy the kind of skills that you've just learned. Focus in on what are some of the beliefs that you currently have in relation to the result you now want to achieve. What are some of the beliefs that you've got that are helpful, but also what are some of the beliefs that you've got currently that might hinder you? Let me share an example that might help you there. I had previously a client who was in the retail sector. It was a family business, and in the retail stores, there was a belief that because the business had been built up through great customer loyalty, that the business owner needed to be in the store all the time in order to serve the client base. Well, that may well be true to an extent. However, if that person has got a desire ultimately over time to have a business that runs without them having to be there, well, we might need to change the beliefs. Well, actually, what belief might be more helpful? Well, actually, how do we start to impart some of the values, some of the great customer service, some of the stories, some of the ways that they wanted the rest of the team to interact with clients? Because guess what? It was a good team of people, and they all had the ability to really connect with the general public, but actually, and they could do it in their way. It didn't necessarily have to just be this person's way. So changing the belief to say, actually, my team can do this, and they, in some instances, could maybe connect in a better way. So that change of belief to trust people more and say it doesn't have to be me was quite an empowering belief to then allow some changes to happen.